Well, what's up, YouTube? It's been a while. Had a lot of shit going on. I want to start off with saying that there ain't nobody in this world gonna convince me that we're not in tribulation now. We definitely are. See, I've got a lot of people that are squawking over the internet that can't produce any proof of what they're running their mouth about. Like, at all. There's no medical records, there's no police reports, there's no nothing. But internet believes it, even though they're all about receipts and facts and this and that and the other. No, they're not. Y'all are a bunch of fake motherfuckers, is what you are. Trying to live in a false reality that you made up on the internet or whatever. That's your fucking problem, not mine. Tell you one thing, this will be the last fucking time I ever turn to the community or the public for any type of, you know, help or acknowledgement on anything like this because this is fucking insane. And nobody can tell me that this wasn't planned. It was planned. The kid said it. Everything they said, she did. So did her mother. So did little David. And little David went along with it so he could get paid and save his own neck. And yes, she is diagnosed with BPD. And yes, that is exactly what they do. Pretty funny. All the therapy sessions she was in that we went to, none of them ever said anything about these details. I had to find these out on my own. Yeah, they couldn't even pinpoint what her mental issue was. They had so many things that I'm asking them, is that even possible? And they're like, yeah, it's rare, but it's possible. I'm wondering how the fuck these people are not in mental homes for the rest of their life. How are they just allowed to get away with all the shit that they do? And the only other thing I can think of is we accepted a beast system. Our government is not out there for peace and safety, not for us. Everything has been nothing but a delusion. And I've noticed this changing slowly throughout the years. I've tried to warn people about it. Everybody thought, and said that I was crazy or that it was a conspiracy theory. Well, how many of those conspiracy theories that everybody rant and raved about were so crazy but have been proven true? See, a lot of those theories start from analyzing details and gathering data. And yes, obviously, the people doing it are going to try and leave holes. So you have to fill them in with educated guesses, not technically assuming. There is a difference between an educated guess and assuming. Even though they're pretty much the same thing, they're not really. There is a fine line that defines the difference. That's why there are two words, and they are considered synonyms, but they still have a little bit different definition. As in real life definition, seeing it. Not what it looks like on paper. And to these feminists out here, you can keep living this fantasy world. You can manipulate, make people believe whatever you want. You're going to pay for that. And it ain't going to be by any of us. It's going to be by God. And I'm going to laugh when it happens. And that's the thing. We get so used to this, so many decades on this planet that we think it's never going to happen. What if that's part of it? Yeah, kind of like a stress test. But in this one, it's a little different. I don't know how the fuck these women are doing it. Like, totally mind fucking people and completely switching fact and fantasy right in front of people's faces that watch the facts go down. I don't get it. Oh, I know for a fact I've had a lot of people that were jealous of me and mad at me and wanting revenge on me for things that they did to me or my friends or tried to do to my family, and they got their asses kicked for it. See, now with the internet and all this shit they can do to run around and play games, it's like the people out there being criminals get rewarded. I guess what that is. Good book again. Bad will be good, good will be bad. Oh, my exes knew I was a unicorn and that I was a good dude. That's why they did what they did. If I can't have them, nobody can, type deal. And the fucked up part is, they used each other's bullshit stories to create their own problem that they could use their bullshit that they're telling people so it looks more realistic. Only because they know, well, if this person's saying it and that person's saying it, it's gotta be true. No, it doesn't. Look at the hood rats. You got 20 motherfuckers lying, and they get believed, even though they're lying. Yeah, they figured out that if they get so called witnesses that can lie good, they can pretty much get right around the court system. I watched a dude get a chick in trouble for theft when this dude used this chick as a patsy, a fucking slave, talking to her any which way he wanted. Yeah, man, he even put up a bogus ass court date and tried to say that she stole things from him, that I was actually with her in her vehicle when she was talking to him and telling him, working out where she was going to drop them off at, even though he was the one that left them at her house. Yeah, I got a call to do some repairs because she was a friend of one of my friends, and I just happened to be in the car when all this shit was going down. And she did. She went to the house. She got everything he asked her to get. She put it in the car. She tried to take it to him. He took off somewhere in the middle of her traveling, like further, even though he knew she was on her way. Then he tells her to drop it at this spot, next to his apartment, and she does it. And he's running around playing with the gun on, social media sites and talking to his friends about it, going hunting with it, but putting up a police report that, she stole it and never gave it back, blah, blah, blah. And she got put on probation, even though she showed that he was the one being an ass about everything, that she did drop it off and did everything that he asked. And the court said all kinds of bullshit. I mean, it was just flat out bullshit. Even the lawyer was like, well, they can press charges if they want or make it further. I mean, they do have enough. And I said, bullshit. She has text messages from him right there showing that he received it. And you guys are acting like it ain't there. It's right there in black and white. That's what I mean. They just pretty much ignore shit. Just like they're not supposed to be able to threaten you. State's attorney threatened me that I wasn't allowed to speak about my kids, or they would make sure I go to jail for a long time. I smiled and laughed. I spoke about my kids anyway. You're not the fucking judge. And who the fuck are you to threaten me? Oh, I made them look like fucking idiots, and it got dismissed. I don't know what that judge did to that state's attorney for threatening me, because they didn't handle it inside the courtroom. She said, I'll get to you later. And he took off out that courtroom. Yeah, that tells you right there. There's something really up with this situation. Why is the state's attorney so worried about what I'm going to say? Wouldn't they be more worried about catching the person that did this to children? Don't you think? Right, it's because they already know. That's okay. You guys can keep trying to use your title and your reputation to hide whatever you think you can hide. You can't hide it from the final judge. None of us can. So, you can keep doing that all you want. You can keep listening to people and believing shit when you have no fucking clue. But this is why 3 kids are dead, because of you. Because of feminism. Because of Black Lives Matter. Defund the police, this, that, and the other. Because you have pussy-footed police officers that don't realize, doesn't matter what we say to you, even when you fuck up, you are to do your job. And just because you don't like that citizen because they got in your ass doesn't mean you slack off on your fucking job. Right there means that you should be fired. You don't have enough balls or integrity to wear that badge and do what you're supposed to do. Oh, I've had plenty of people try to talk me into becoming a cop, and I said no, because all it's going to take is one of my coworkers to be working with me one day, or me to find out that they're doing some really bad shit. And I'm going to get in trouble for beating their ass. If I'm going to take an oath and I'm going to wear a uniform and supposed to be, the role models of the freaking community to uphold the law, no matter what people might say or do to me. These motherfuckers don't do that. They use it and act like they are royalty because of it. Now, not all of them, no. There are some that don't play that shit. They took an oath and they're going to go buy it. And I love them for that. Even the ones that had to arrest me for orders that they didn't agree with. They even would tell me, this is bullshit, but it's from a judge or this or that or the other. And that's pretty bad when you have that happening. Yeah, that means you have judges going against laws and doing the same thing. And guess what? You're not a judge either. You're taking the place of God and trying to cast judgment on earth. And you're not allowed to do that. Just like we have states that say you're not allowed to defend yourself, all because other people have tried to use the self-defense law and abused it. And it's not just because of that. They also noticed that, shit, you can make more money that way and have more criminals that way, more chaos, etc. See, chaos to them, they don't really have to handle. They can just throw you in a cell, get a judge to give them what they want, and then everybody gets paid and they're happy while your life is destroyed. And what do? They try to blame it on you because, oh, well, look what this paper says, so that must be true, even though they ain't nowhere near the fucking truth. Is that way with everybody? No. But it is that way with a good bit of people, and it shouldn't be. No, I'm not going to do anything about it. Nope. This is these people's lives, and this is their test. If they want to do that and fail, and I have to go through trials and tribulations because of it, that doesn't mean that they're right and I deserve it. That doesn't mean that I deserve that karma. That's my test. Are we tested like that a lot? Yeah. Wonder why that is. Maybe because the fall of Satan. Did you ever think of that? Maybe that's why he gave us free will and he doesn't interfere. And when we pray and do the right thing, he will help us out. Just like a parent. Imagine that. At least a good one, anyway. I just don't get it. Women can walk around with stories and people will automatically believe it. Men can say the truth to it. If he doesn't have it on video, he's automatically in the wrong. And somewhere in this mix of females and males, apparently somebody is writing rules for the males that shouldn't be. Trying to say that if a whole group of people are saying this is your fault and all that, you're supposed to accept fault, even though you know damn well it wasn't you. As in, it wasn't your mess up or your fault that this occurred. And when you try to explain it to people, if they're not there to see it, or let's say they are there, but they just didn't catch the details that you did, they can have a really bad turnout with what they choose to believe. You also got to factor in frenemies. Someone that watched it, knew the truth, and decided not to tell the truth. For whatever reason. Kind of like my nephew. He's like almost 23 now. Yeah, I don't like him because he's an asshole. No, not a good asshole either. Anyway, when he was 3, I was laying tile at my mom's house for a room that my sister was moving into. And he came out there, which he was my sister's son, and he started handing me tile, just taking them off the stack and handing me some. Well, fast forward 20 years later, this boy starts running his mouth about it, saying, "Oh, you had to have a 3-year-old help you." Buddy, first of all, I didn't need you to help me. Period. I mean, flat out. It's sticky tile, bro. Not that complicated. But yeah, I mean, just because I allowed him to help, he tried to use that with some type of freaking delusion reality. I know, it was just manipulation because he was trying to stab me, and he just doesn't understand. That kind of shit is not going to stab me, bro. All I'm going to do is laugh at you. Yeah, this is the same dude that deliberately tried to choke his brother on a cookie. Oh, yeah, did it deliberately twice. First time, he was okay. He ended up swallowing it, and it didn't, cut off his airway too bad. But I was right next to John when he did that. He was making him laugh, and he was told, "Stop doing that. You're going to make him choke." Then he almost makes him choke, and John thought it was funny. And I looked at him right in his face. I mean, nose to nose, made sure he was paying attention. I said, "Do not do that again." He did it again. So I had to move John out my way and smack Jaden on the back to get it out of him. And I got it out of him. And of course, I get a smart ass look and smirk from John, like, "Heh." Fast forward a couple more years. John's about 10 or 11. My kids come over. David wanted to play basketball with John and Jaden. David beat John. John called an attitude. Tries to fight David. I break it up. He throws a basketball at me, got mad. I just laughed. Then Jaden said something to him, and he took a baseball and hit Jaden in the head with it, like, cupped it and smacked him on the top of the head. And I told Jaden, I said, "You need to fight back or he's going to keep doing that." And Jaden said no, and went in the house. And I told John to his face, I said, "You ever do that to one of my kids, I will beat your ass." So what does he do? He goes in the house, waits a little bit. Me and David are playing, watching TV, sitting in the living room, getting ready to go back home. And Pop comes out and asks if David can come back and hang out in the room with them, back in Pop's room, because they were back there watching TV. And I said, "Sure." I didn't just say sure. David kept bugging me, and I told David, I said, "He's setting you up. He's going to do something." And David's like, "No, he's not. Everything will be fine." I'm like, "Okay." Then Pop lies, manipulates, tries to, you know, protect John, saying that he was in the bathroom when whatever happened. David ended up with a mild concussion. I took my son to the hospital. Before I took him to the hospital, of course, I went back into the room and was trying to talk to Pop to figure out what happened. And he is sitting in front of his door with John, like, towards the back of the door, kind of using it as when I opened the door, it would, like, kind of be a blocker. He was setting up for me to do something. He knew what happened, and he lied. I went to the hospital with my son and explained everything to them, and I called the state police on my way back because I spoke to my sister while I was up there, and I told her, I said, you need to do something to that boy, or I will. And she was telling me, well, she doesn't know what really happened. I said, yes, you do. He never got in any trouble, and they tried to get the cops to arrest me when they showed up. And that's when I found out that my stepdad has family and friends in the state police. And these men were his friends. And they were going to arrest me just because he wanted them to, even though it was unlawful. I had not done anything to be arrested. John did. He assaulted my son with a weapon, by the way. And that's what they were doing. Trying to protect John, even though John was the one that did all this shit. So, after I toss a couple of cops around my yard, Tiffany walks out of the house with Talon in her arms and smacks a state trooper in the back of the head. I have them handled completely until she did that. When she did that, to save her ass from getting arrested, I just gave up and put my hands behind my back and laid on the ground. The commissioner released me on my own recons. So there you go. Even the sheriffs that were up there in the commissioner's office, when the state boy is trying to tell this commissioner, and trying to paint me as I was the problem, now I'm smiling. And he's like, yeah, if you would have tried that to me, you would have rode the lightning. And I told him, I said, I've rode the lightning, buddy. And trust me, it ain't gonna do shit. Then I'm talking to the commissioner, and the commissioner's like, well, you can't attack police officers. I said, I didn't. I said, you can look it up in your penal code. When an officer is doing an unlawful arrest, I can use any force necessary to do a citizen's arrest to that officer. Even if he gets irate and tries to use deadly force, I'm allowed to use deadly force. Might want to learn that. And the commissioner, of course, says, oh, we got a smart ass here. I said, no, you have somebody that knows what the fuck I'm talking about, and you don't like it. And the state trooper was like, yeah, I split my pants. And I said, yeah, and that's what you fucking get. You're lucky you don't have a split face. But I knew if I actually punched them or attacked them, that I would get in trouble. So I just used defensive judo against them. Same thing they used. And they didn't like it. Then they tried to have me jumped when they took me to the police station. Yeah, that didn't work out too good for them either, even though I was in handcuffs. Yeah, I've done a lot of work for state troopers, and the one was a customer of my mom's at a restaurant when I was a kid. He was a canine officer, and he was one of the ones walking down there to help them with the assault that was about to take place against me. Because they ain't gonna stand for their trooper to be messed up, and that's what the trooper said across the mic. Even though I never assaulted any of them. All I did was make it to where they couldn't arrest me. I never hit them. Yeah, my buddy Taco didn't show up on that one. Yes, I call him Taco. That is not his real name. That's what I call him. That's what I've always called him. Why does he like me? Because I don't lie. He's had encounters with me because of other things and friends and other situations going down. And no, I wasn't the person doing something wrong in every one of those situations. But when he came to me, I didn't lie to him. And I don't know. I guess we built respect for each other. I do got to give one sheriff, I don't know who he was, but I had a flat tire and it was in the middle of the night. I pulled off on the side of the road to change it and it's fucking pitch black. I mean, there's no street lights out at all. And he pulled up behind me and put his lights on me so I could finish. And when I got done, I gave him like the thumbs up, like asking him, everything cool or you need to talk to me or something. And he just gave me the thumbs up back and took off. But yeah, I never figured out who he was. Whoever you were, thank you. Copper Dodge van is what I was in. Don't give me shit. It was a work van for $300 that ran. That's back when I was doing work for the state troopers, sheriffs, and all that. Pretty much every day, and courthouses. Every one of those courthouses has my work in it. Well, the thing was, I was a subcontractor, and I would subcontract for North Bay Floors. I would subcontract for American Home Interiors, all the builders, everybody. So they'd be doing the bid work, and then when they get the job, they call me. So when Bay Country, or when North Bay got the bid for the one part of the one courthouse, I was the person they called to install it. When American Home Interiors got the one bid, I was the one that went and installed it. See? Just like the lawyer that Tiffany had, his upstairs office was put in by me. Now you see why Tiffany attacked my reputation and my business, because she knew. Gee, she only been with me 12 years. She knew exactly where to hit and what to do, and her mama helped her. It was a fucking gold digging scheme done by mother and daughter from the beginning. I didn't take it as that. I gave her benefit of the doubt, but that's what taught me not to give her benefit of the doubt. But yep, you're right. And oh, females are just so innocent no matter what they do. Yeah. They even killed her brother and they don't give a fuck. She'll use it for attention. She doesn't give a shit. She does not give a shit. And she keeps calling David a fucking hero and a survivor. Uh, he was part of it with you and your mother. Of course, you couldn't be in the vehicle because you had to have the alibi so you could get the money and make sure they got it. And that's exactly why you were left at your house. You can cut the shit about working that night. You were not working that night. You did not have to close no store. You were not working. You're a fucking liar. I was there to pick you up on times that you got off late. Remember that? Yeah. So I know for a fact what time you closed that store. And it damn sure wasn't no 9 o'clock. Ever. And don't even try that. Oh, well, they closed early when it was getting cold. It was May. Okay? Yeah, that's when this took place. The end of May. It wasn't cold. Your hours were open late. Don't even try it. See, this is the same shit you would pull with Subway, even though you got fired from there for stealing. Then you lied to your new manager because it wasn't my mom anymore. She was the area manager. But you would lie to me and her so you could take the day off and then wonder why you don't have any money. Gee, I wonder. Oh, yeah, why did you get that job? Oh, yeah. That's because my work is seasonal and it slows down during the winter. And you wanted to have a W 2. Even though what you made in that W 2 all fucking year long, which don't even get me started there. That was another job I got you through my friend, and you manipulated them so you could sleep in the back instead of do your job. I need to get off this because I can go for days on the shit I've caught her doing at work. That's why she wanted a job. That's why she wanted me to quit doing floors, only do it on the side, and me and her work regular jobs. Because she had found somebody that she wanted to fuck around with that worked at the Dunkin'. And that's why she didn't apply to anybody else but Dunkin'. That's also why she faked that it meant so much to her that she got a job there, even though I was the one that went up there and made the manager pull up her application and consider her for the job, which is why she got it. Imagine that. I was being used the whole fucking time. Yep. She ended up messing with some dude named Chris. Had those people manipulated too. That's why they wouldn't say anything to me about what she was doing. Because, oh, I'm such an asshole. And this is why she's doing it. That was her favorite line. Why? Because it worked. That's why. You don't understand. This girl would be acting like she missed me while I was at work, wanting me to text her or call her throughout the whole day, okay? Knowing that that'll get me fired, for one. And for two, she had a man in my house the whole time she was talking to me. Why was she doing that? So she knew when I was coming home. Yeah, I've never cheated on a girl in my life, and they know for a fact I'll treat you great and all that, but don't ever fucking lie to me and don't cheat on me. And what they do? Exactly what I asked them not to do. Did they have all the trust in the world? Yes, they did. They had 100% trust until they ruined it. Then after that, I didn't trust them. And what would they do? Come up with these little outlines of how the relationship needs to be ran. So I don't have to worry about them doing anything wrong for us to stay together. If you wanted us to stay together, why are you sleeping with other people? It's fucking ridiculous what a woman can say and what people will believe. It is fucking insane. David Jr., this shit isn't over, and I will have my day with you. We almost had our day in Walmart. Keep running. That meeting will happen, whether you like it or not. I am still your father, whether you like that or not. The only reason you're ducking is because you know what you've done.